powerful. So we'll see who gets their hands on it.
Well, Rise is the first ban. You see it coming out there from Alliance. They don't want to allow that through. Kurt played it yesterday, I believe. Zed also being banned away. Froggen played that to great effect last week.
So I'm wondering if Millennium are trying to force Alliance's hand to ban LeBlanc. By taking Zed away, if Alliance don't either ban LeBlanc or pick her first, that is a strong possibility for a contender in the mid lane. But you've got all of your farm-heavy champions still there. Gragas is up, Ziggs is up. Like we've mentioned, that Nidalee is still available. And with Leona being banned out, it means Thresh as a priority could be there as well.
There is the Nidalee ban, taking away that mid lane. I haven't seen Nidalee for a while because he's been pretty much sitting in that jail cell of a ban. Renekton also being taken away. This is maybe leaving the likes of Aurelia, Trundle, or Shyvana open for Wicked in that top lane. Maybe could be the first picks. So
what we've seen from Wicked in his last few games, he's only played Shyvana and Trundle. He's been trending more to the Shyvana than other champions, and he's actually picked sort of losing lane matchups in favor of late game scaling as far as his champions are concerned. With Renekton off the table, it just makes his life a little bit more comfortable in that top lane and a little more easy to work around depending on what your opponents pick.
And LeBlanc is the final ban. Not too sure that Wicked's going to be playing the Heimerdinger. Froggen has actually tried it a few times in solo queue, but I don't think he's going to get locked in first.
I don't think so either. My instinct is going to be Evelynn or Kha'Zix. I think
Evelynn would make sense.
Giving Shook a comfort pick.
The Lulu snuck through the champ pick well. So that's going to be for Froggen. Or it could be for Nif. They could just be trying to fool them completely here, but I'm pretty sure that might be Froggen in the mid lane.
Yeah, I'm expecting that to be on Froggen as well. With 4 bans being targeted to the mid lane and letting through the likes of Lulu, the likes of Evelynn, the likes of Kha'Zix, Alliance have put a lot of emphasis on that Lulu. If they combine Lulu with the likes of, say, a Sivir AD carry, which is still open and available, in conjunction with a Shyvana top lane, they're going to have a lot of peel running around. It's a comp that Alliance worked very well, champion synergy, that worked in their favor when they went on that 8-game winning streak.
It does, of course, mean that Konex did get that Kha'Zix as a champion he wanted, and Kraton on Lucian as well. So 2 champions they're going to be very comfortable on in this start of the game.
Yeah, at this point in time, I think those are just safe picks. Because they're, high priorities. As we've mentioned, the sort of trinity of AD carries being that Lucian, Caitlyn, and I've just gone blank. Lucian, Caitlyn, Sivir was the one I was thinking of. Immediately, Creatin's going to go on the champion pick, taking it away from Tabs. Lucian is super versatile, and knowing that Thresh was available, if Lucian was still up, it would leave the possibility of a Lucian Thresh being locked in for Alliance. Because they've taken a jungler's already locked in, there was actually no pressure for Shook to lock his jungler in now, but he has done so to save up the counter pick for his top laner and determine if they want to run Jinx, for example, or if they're going to go Caitlyn or Sivir.
It is going to be Evelynn for Shook. It is a champion he's played non-stop. This win streak that Alliance had was pretty much bred off the back of Evelynn and Thresh being used predominantly, but you can see that Ziggs has already been locked up quickly by Kerp in that mid lane.
Very quick lock-in. Kerp wants to have that zone control. I also think against a Lulu, Ziggs is one of the champions that can do fairly well. His satchel charge will allow him to escape the initial glitter lance. Even though he can get hit by any and chased, it'll put some distance between him. In addition, the great wave clear and range just allows him to zone out and bully Lulu, at least for the first level or 2, until Lulu gets all 3 of his spells available to her. For Kevin, on the other hand, he's not been successful in Shyvana. If this gets locked in, he's played it 5 times, he's lost 4 games with this champion, and he does have a decent KDA of 3 from the 1 game where he did very well, but it's not his strongest top lane champion by a long way.
Not too convinced by this one. Kevin is normally a very steady top laner, but Shyvana's definitely not his best champion. We did see the counters getting locked in very quickly there. It was Trundle for Wicked once again. As a champion he's played a ton of times. Again, probably going to carry that teleport. The teleports are generally going to be the top lane bread and butter these days. We're waiting for Tabs to finally choose his AD carry. At the moment, he's sitting on Jinx.
Yeah, so Jinx is going to be the damage option, and I think they should go this route. Yes, Lulu will have damage much later in the game when she's got her Death Cap and her Lich Bane built up, but it'll take a while to get there. Evelynn, yes, she has damage, but it's damage over time. So I feel like with the amount of protection they have with Lulu, with Thresh, with Trundle Pillars, the Jinx is a very smart option. If they'd gone for the Sivir, it would have taken a lot longer and it would have taken perfect team fights to drop down members of Millennium. The one thing that Tabs has to be super careful about, though, is looking for a Shyvana and a Kha'Zix diving onto him in those team fights. By having both of those champions available with a Mega Inferno Bomb that can come down from Ziggs, there is kill potential on Tabs on Jinx, so he's got to be very careful with his positioning in those mid to late game team fights.
Well, Jay Reese sitting on Blitzcrank right now. As the champion he's actually run before, so, well, he's locked it in, would you believe it? Blitzcrank will be used, so unsure on that one. It is a champion they've run, and it's a hook versus a hook, that's for sure.
It is, and it's one of those champions where if you don't get ahead early, you are in a lot of trouble. He has played it once this split already. He went 0-4-8. It was against Roccat many, many weeks ago. The risk with this champion lock-in now for Millennium is that Blitzcrank doesn't necessarily offer a whole lot to the rest of his composition. You're going to have Kha'Zix and Shyvana diving into the thick of things, hoping that the long range of Ziggs is going to amplify the damage and help them pick up kills. While they're diving in, you're going to be pulling a target in. Somebody like Evelyn or Trundle, who, truthfully, Alliance want to be in the middle of the fight. So J-Ree's going to make sure he helps get Creatine ahead early on that Lucian. As far as compositions are concerned, Alliance are going to be able to split push all day. They're going to have Trundle in that top lane. When they get to team fights, you've got a bunch of shields that can save one another. And as long as they can keep Tabs alive, Tabs has got enough damage to melt through that front line of Millennium.
Well, let's take a moment to check your votes over on LOLesports.com. According to those numbers, you picked Alliance by 85%. Big vote for Alliance here.
Very big vote. But this is a team that's in the playoffs versus a team that's in the summer promotion tournament. Alliance, even though they lost yesterday, it was a hell of a game. It was very close. It was very exciting. And I think probably fair. We'll see if Millennium can upset the apple
It's a team that's won 9 out of the last 10 games. Let's be fair. That was their first loss in 4 weeks now, a full month until they had that loss. Of course, Alliance chasing that #1 spot. That's what they want. It's all about that #1 and the 2 seed. They get into the semi-finals early on. Alliance, of course, were firmly evil geniuses. They did get through in the spring split, but got knocked out by the eventual winners, Fnatic, in that semi-final. It was a fantastic matchup, and they actually feel, you know, if just one single fight turned that match, they could have been in that final instead of Fnatic. History books would have been written differently. Instead, Froggen chose to go and separate his team and pick up a bunch of new members. At the moment, it looks like it's going to be a 5-man invade. And Millennium, this is their game. This is what they start doing, but Alliance are ready for it.
Advantage Millennium. Because the Blitzcrank hook is going to be longer range and faster acting than Thresh, if it connects, they're going to be in trouble. Everybody in Alliance is in the bush. These teams are about to face check. This is going to be a 5-on-5. It's going to start.
Alliance know they're coming because Shook would have seen it, and it's going to be J-Ree face checking. It's going to be Kirk getting hooked in. They turn it back around with a grip on Wicked, but there's no kills, no full-on, no summoner spells really burnt out. There was 1 flash, 2 flashes burnt out by Millennium, and no flashes at all. I tell you live, Wicked, of course, he had to flash out of that Blitzcrank hook.
So hook on hook, but they didn't manage to lock anybody up. There was no other CC to work around. There's no way that Millennium could have known Alliance had picked that particular bush to camp in. And unfortunately, no blind hook means they didn't pull somebody and blow him up instantly. At the end of the day, very dramatic, no kills gained, summoner spells blown. Kerp needs to be careful in the mid lane.
Yeah, definitely. No barrier or flash is almost certainly going to trigger Shook to come and look in. I mean, he normally goes looking for those ganks in the mid lane up against Frog, and if that Glitterlance lands with Shook nearby, it could well be a very dead little Ziggs. As it stands, Nif and Tabs are peeking, but I don't think they're going to go for anything here. They're just going to set up and maybe try and create a play of their own. They have got Shook with him. It's going to be a late invade on blue.
Yeah, they're going to be able to move in here quite safely. I think this is an informed decision. Having watched Kotinex on Kha'Zix, it's one of only 2 junglers that he's played in the LCS. You know that he's going to start on that red buff and try to look for a gank after going red, couple of camps, blue. So safe decision making. Having Tabs and Nif with Shook means that that buff is stolen away. I'm a little disappointed that Creatine and Jerry are not pushing this lane heavier because they could have got an early level 2. Now that no minions have died on Millennium's side, Tabs and Nif have actually lost no experience or gold from that wave push. So the lane is as even as it can be.
Yeah, a little strange play there. They realized they were away. I mean, they were expecting some sort of stealthy play, I don't know. But Konex is going to try and go for the reverse and go straight in, get the blue buff of his own. However, Shook is heading this way. He's going to have to be quick on this one. I'm not too sure whether Shook's going to try and gain the ground quick enough. He's got Smite is not available for just yet. Shook's going to come around the corner. He's going to see him. There's the Smite, steals it away. Shook will find him, and they're all moving towards this one. You can see the top laners are going to get involved. Shook does get on towards Konex. Konex is going to get that unseen threat, but I don't think he's got the damage to chase on this one. Wicked's going to come out. Pillar of Ice was already used, and the flash had to be burned by Konex.
Yeah, that is a very risky invade from Cardnex because he didn't have any support with him. We didn't see Kevin moving to help him out. We didn't see Kerb coming to zone. And I actually think Cardnex was a little bit lucky to get away with his life. Had Froggen seen that or reacted a tiny bit earlier, one Glitzer Lance could have been enough to hold him in place long enough for either Wicked or Shook to secure the kill. Nevertheless, he does manage to balance out the buffs, so Cottonex not quite as far behind, just doesn't have that summoner spell. Needs to be careful if he gets caught out.
Yeah, and honestly, if Shook would have chose to go up towards the top, because he went to race and then went around. If it had just gone up towards the top through the river, instead he went down round the bottom, so he took the long route to look towards it because he was securing, of course, the bottom lane. Could have all been very different, would have come around the corner, found him there, would have stealthed in there because there was no vision at all whatsoever, so could have got himself the kill. As it is, he's going to get his red buff his own, and it is all square and even.
Yeah, so we did see for a brief moment or two in that bottom lane how well Jerry was zoning out Tabs and Nif. He was using that Blitzcrank rocket grab to force Tabs and Nif to be on the back, but unfortunately for Millennium, the wave is now pushing very, very heavily against Tabs and Nif. So they should have the option available to them to freeze this lane up here and try to, what does goes wide, try to at least hold the lane in a safe zone. All of a sudden, Creatin and J are the ones overextended, and they're dealing with an Evelyn, so they've got to be careful. Going to jump on Wicked. He does not have Flash available.
He's going to get caught out. There's the Void Spike. There's the Claw. Wicked's going to go down here. I don't think he's going to be able to escape. He's got nothing to get away from it. It's Konex with first blood.
Yeah, knowing that his Flash was down, that goes all the way back to that level 1 invade. Cottonex's timing was very good. 75% of the cooldown had been used for Wicked, but he still did not have Flash. Pillar of Ice, it couldn't have done much. I mean, truthfully, they were stuck on him. He was slowed from the red buff of Connex's Kha'Zix, and he'd taken so much damage. He's not going to miss too much CS and gold, though, thanks to his teleport and returning to lane.
Yeah, I mean, there was, what, 3 slows pointed towards him. I don't think it was much haste to get out of that one, and it was, as you saw, Shook going in there, taking away the Wolves knew, of course, Konex was in the top lane. Wicked is going to get himself some farm, continuing on, though, despite the fact he has been taken down. It was only the assist. The hook lands on Jerry, no follow-up, though, from Tabs. Let's check out those items. Of course, Wicked had only got that Doran's item, and so all he could get is a second one. Meanwhile, Vampiric Scepter being picked up by Kevin, so Kevin with a slight edge in terms of items, and of course, more importantly, look at all those pink wards Millennium are bought.
Yeah, they have to, because they're playing against an Evelyn and they haven't gone for a lane swap. We've seen yesterday how effective you can deal with Evelyns if you force a lane swap and force Shook to go for the tower dive or for the defense. This time around, investing in all of these pink wards very early on, if used correctly, can give Millennium a lot of tools to work with. The risk that they run into, though, is having that pink ward cleared out and then having Shook just repeat or redo the pathing to move around and go for the gank. So we'll see where they decide to put them down. There's already a pink ward in the lower river, as well as the top tri-bush. So the 2 lanes that the 2 entries you're expecting Evelyn to come through have been covered.
Yeah, I mean, while it's not as efficient with all the pink wards, would it not be cheaper just to go for the standard ward and put them deeper on towards the ward camps like you see in the Wolves on the blue buff, just where they're going to actually pop out so you can see Evelyn early?
It is definitely, if you want to go that option, put a stealth ward deep in their bushes and allow yourselves to react to the invades, but it's so much riskier. At this level in the game, we see Shook, he's already clearing out the first of those pink wards, and Cottonex already had that failed invade. He went in to steal the risky invade, rather. Stole the blue away, now he's moving himself in. Down a lot of CS thanks to those ganks, but Froggen does seem to be somewhat aware, getting some vision in place. It doesn't look like he's going to catch Cottonex just yet.
I think he was maybe looking at poking towards the top. I think Wicked probably had some spider senses tingling. The fact that he was a mile up the lane probably gave it away for him. As it was, Froggen returns to mid lane, and this is a fairly even fight between these two. Lulu, the predominant lane bully, up against Ziggs, who can push lanes very heavily, and these two at the moment are going very much even in farm.
Yeah, unless one of the players makes a very big mistake, I am anticipating that lane. Oh, Shook, gonna get blue. Oh, bomb. Yeah, he gets it. Smites it away. Teleport down from Kevin, though.
Teleport comes in, Kevin coming in there. J-Ree's going to close around the side. The choppers do enough. Froggen may well be forced to flash. Is he going to throw the lantern out here? I'm trying to see whether he's going to hold out instead. He had to use that wild growl. Not too sure why there was no lantern from Nif there instead. He could have just used that to go to safety. They're going to try and transition this into the Dragon. And well, Shook did use that smite, remember, so he can't come in and steal this one. It will go to Millennium.
No teleport from Wicked, no flash from Froggen, and they were split up. If Alliance were going to engage, it was going to be 4v5 in a best case scenario. So I think it was a smart decision not to challenge. Also, because it's before 8 minutes in the game and the average champion level is below level 6 or level 7 at this point, Dragon's not worth all that much. You see, Millennium have only got a 600 gold lead, so smart decision making not to risk any further play there. The one thing that I do want to touch on is how both of those mid lanes are super bullies, and unless a player makes a monumental error, we're not expecting one-on-one kills. Cottonex could get killed by Shook though. He's going with Agonies.
He's going to come around, might be catch on towards him. He has got his ultimate, gets the slowdown on him. Cottonex has already used that flash. Shook could dive this one, but does not fancy it. There's no ultimate available for Cottonex.
No, and Cottonex didn't get the buff either. He had his smite available and it was taken away there by Shook. So, you know, Cottonex down on CS. Super Mega Death Rocket, little bit risky. That's not going to kill him.
No, it's going to hit him in the face though.
It hits. It's a good shot, good shot. One for one. But what is very important to note is Cottonex is 25 CS down. He's lost another buff. And Alliance have got a very good read on where Cottonex is. The first time Cottonex invaded blue, he was forced to blow flash to get away. The second time he goes into steal the white, Froggen was toying with invading, and now Shook finds him in the jungle, forces him away.
He has actually, yeah, he's got the edge because he got that first blood, didn't he? He's got the edge in terms of gold, just ever so slightly. This is going to be a blue buff for Froggen here. So he's going to be happy with that one. He's going to be going up against Kerp, who will not be too happy to see that blue buff on him. You can see he's already taken some poke, and he takes another Glitter Lance to the face as well. Ziggs using that Mega Inferno Bomb to keep the wave clear, but it's not going to be enough to keep Froggen at bay.
So I want to go back to the point you were touching on regarding deep warding Alliance's jungle to deal with Evelynn. I actually think Millennium need to put more focus and emphasis on that for two reasons. Not only does it allow them to read the jungle camps that Shook is killing, but it's what you want when you've got a Blitzcrank. In order for Blitzcrank to be successful, you want to be able to land hooks when Alliance feels safe. Pull people out of their jungle, pull them away from buffs, pull them away from their Wraith camp. And if you've got that deep wards in there, it allows Jerry to set up those plays. So we'll see if they feel the same and decide to go that route. And right now, Jerry, this Blitzcrank hasn't done anything for the first 10 minutes of the game. He's had one hook. It was far from being game-changing.
And at the moment, they haven't got a single ward in the Alliance jungle. And honestly, I think they're a little too scared to go in there and place them because, as you've seen, Shook going up against Cottonex. Currently, it is Shook that's coming out the best. However, Cottonex now, with that ultimate available, may be able to try and turn the tide. As it stands, though, it's still that one kill in the top lane on Wicked. And well, J-Re thought about it. Dead Sentence lands. They're going to pull some damage down. The choppers, the ultimate, the Mega Death Rocket does go out. J-Re taken very low from this one. One more shot should be enough, but the culling from Kraton's enough to stop them in the tracks.
Yeah, J-Re forced to get away. The flash was enough to keep him alive, and thanks to his passive of the mana barrier, it blocked a lot of additional damage. But now, Tabs and Nif are going to get free reign on this bottom turret. If Creatine sticks around and gets caught by CC, he is in trouble. The one thing I want to highlight that, you know, we haven't touched on just yet is how well Wicked is doing in the top lane. He's playing Trundle against Shyvana, and he is 20 CS ahead. Now, we haven't been seeing if this is because Kevin's playing safe because of that Evelynn or not, but this is a very good position to be in. When you have a Trundle that is winning his lane in a matchup that, you know, a damaged Shyvana he shouldn't necessarily be winning, it's going to bode so well for that next Dragon fight and for the next time Wicked teleports in to engage the rest of Millennium.
And of course, both of them building identically at the moment. They're both gone for that Bilgewater Cutlass. We'll see. Kevin just backed off again, got himself twin daggers, so he's going to be returning to the lane, trying to get some of that attack speed on the go. As it stands, though, Millennium are pushing this bottom lane. They're going to get some damage down, but Tabs is quickly took the golems and returns to continue that farm of his own. Slight advantage for Kraton, that's going to get balanced out. Here's going to be, what, 3 gold, 3 CS differential between the two. Mid laners, of course, it's going to be both going for that Athene's and Holy Grail, but you see, Froggen built it already.
Yeah, I think mechanically, Millennium, you know, Kevin and Cottonex are completely being outshone by their opponents. And I don't know exactly why. Cottonex has tried to make ganks. He has secured first blood. He's been caught out a little bit, but he's not farming anywhere near as effectively as Shook has. On the same token, Shook has not ganked. We haven't seen him in the lane. He counter-jungled Cottonex once. And when you've got both teams happy to extend the laning phase, happy to just sit, farm their waves away, and then get to a mid-game power spike, it just means that team fight is going to be very swingy in terms of control. There's no room for error.
And just to highlight that point for Cottonex, last time we talked about it, Cottonex had a 200 gold advantage. He's now 200 gold behind in farming, just purely from farming, because neither of them have gone for ganks. So Shook is absolutely farming up a storm right now around that jungle area, and maybe going to start looking to invade it.
Yeah, when you've got lanes that are doing well, Wicked has probably told Shook, I don't need assistance. He's winning his lane by himself. He's extended that CS advantage. So with Shook being said, like, don't worry about that. Mid lane, it's difficult to gank a flash barrier satchel charge Ziggs, so don't come in yet, we'll be fine, we'll just farm at mid lane. And Tabs and Nif, they've just been swinging back and forth with Creatin and J-Ree, trading, zone control and lane control. So at the end of the day, Shook's under no obligation to gank. Alliance may feel their team fighting is superior and their decision making is superior in the mid to late game, so why risk it? Why risk going all in against a Blitz or a Shyvana or a Ziggs who can turn ganks around and get kills?
Well, currently, they are continuing that farm. This is what happened actually from the Alliance Fnatic game. They had a long lane phase which quickly transitioned into chaos the moment someone decided to pull the trigger. Once they decide to, right, we're going to take one of those towers down. It could be the next dragon play, which of course is up. It was a very early dragon that came out from Millennium, which is what gave them that early lead. But you can see that lead has just whittled away once again. In terms of gold, they are very much even, and it is looking like Alliance that may try and make a play. You can see them already positioning for Dragon with these two members making their way down, Shook and Froggen. There's the mines going down. That's not too worried about that. They've cleared that one out, no problem.
Yeah, at this point, it's just going to secure the pink board, get more control. Oh, they've caught Creatin!
The hook goes down. Creaton's going to get pulled straight back into this one. Barrier's not enough, and he goes down. And now J-Ree, well, Cottonex comes in there. Wasn't expecting Shook to join the party. Mega Inferno bomb. Nif's going to get pounced on by Cottonex. He got flayed away. J-Ree gets taken down, but he runs straight into Froggen, who turns around, puts that wild growth down. He's actually tanking the dragon round as well. Doesn't really care about it. It's going to be 3 kills and a dragon for Alliance.
That was brilliant play from Alliance. They catch Creatin out, and Nif showing why Thresh is a must-ban against him. The moment Creatin tried to use his dash away, it instantly got flayed. Nif pulled him back into place, held him there long enough for Tabs to secure a kill. And J-Ree, he was trying to, position for a potential dragon fight. It was too early and allowed his AD carry to get taken down. At the very least, Millennium get the top tower, but that is a small victory when you see each of the carries in Alliance grabbing themselves kills and getting that dragon.
The teleport from Wicked, it came, well, pretty late. I don't even think he got it. Did he get a single assist? He did. He got one assist at the end, and obviously helped out the dragon, but unfortunately, it meant they lost that top turret, so technically objectives were traded, and actually turned out, despite of course the 3 kills, wasn't as bad for Millennium as it could have been.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think for opening up that top half of the map, it is a small victory for Millennium, but they need to take advantage of it by once again going for those deep wards. They need to get some more control. They had pretty good vision in the river, but the problem there was not vision for Millennium, it was Creatin being caught and J-Ree almost, I don't want to say the word abandoning, but leaving his AD carry. The moment Blitzcrank hits his W, that overdrive, and gets the speed boost to move away, Creatin's never going to be able to keep up with him with those tier 1 boots. So unfortunately, Creatin just left alone. It's dropped down.
And I hate to say, but so far Nif has landed 2 fantastic death sentences that have led to kills, whereas J-Ree has yet to land an impactful rocket grab.
Yeah, to remind you, the last time it was played was against Roccat, and J-Ree didn't have a particularly strong performance then either. So we'll see what he does this time around. With that top tower down, you notice how both Kevin and Cottonex are now moving around this top half of the map. They may try set something up on Trundle. He has his ultimate, he has flash. I think they're going to go in. This is still going to be difficult because the moment Dragon's Descent comes down, it's bonus armor and MR.
And puts the Pillar of Ice down on him, but as you can see, he just gets blown away there. He's going to try and take some lifesteal away from the white. Now he's got Shum coming around. They're going to try and turn this one around. It's actually Kevin they're turning on. Mega Inferno Bomb's going to come out. That will take Wicked down. Now Froggen's going to join the party. He's going on towards Cottonex. Wild Growth being used on Shook. They're going to get the Glitterlance down. Cottonex tries to pounce away. You're not going to get too far from that one.
So they get 2 for 1 at the end of the day, 1 for 1 at the end of the day, and if Wicked hadn't used that Pillar of Ice to scout the Tribush, he may have been able to get away a little bit more effectively. Nevertheless, they do trade top laner for jungler, and Tabs is going to melt this bottom turret. They've got Jerry!
Death Sentence into Chompers, not quite proccing off this time around though. So Nif again, they do take the tower, they do land another hook, but Jerry manages to escape just by the skin of his teeth.
There was such a small window of opportunity there for Jerry. He needed to flash the millisecond that Death Sentence timed out before he got caught by Flame Chompers. He made it work, and he did survive. So at the very least, gets away with his life. But Alliance grab their first tower of the game, extend that goal lead even further, and as you've already highlighted, Jerry on Blitzcrank not having the rocket grabs that would give them any sort of advantage yet. But now that we're going to get into this tower defense siege situation, there's always the threat of Alliance standing too close and getting pulled in under a turret when it's still within big.
Millennium a little fearful of losing their blue buff, which is why they came around and secured that. Of course, Tabs and Nif were there. Tabs has gone back, got himself that Bloodthirst completed a while back. Now he's got the beginnings of the Phantom Dancer in there. Could go Static Shiv, maybe we'll see which way he's going to go with this one. He's got the Zeal already completed. Meanwhile, we do see the Lantern being used, pulling in, and Nif and Tabs, they are on a roam right now. They've of course taken down that bottom turret and looking to try and create some plays here, it seems. Nif maybe going to roam around. They do want that bottom lane pushed out, which is why Tabs gone back to defend.
Yeah, I feel like it's a couple of minutes until Dragon. So if you look at all of the wards that have been placed in Millennium's jungle right now, Tabs is setting up the vision zone that will allow them to challenge and do battle for the next Dragon safely. So it's quite smart future planning. Those wards will last 3 minutes, and I am expecting Dragon to be up in that time frame.
Also allows them to push right up towards that inner turret, which as you can see where they're heading right now. Froggen sidestepping the bomb, and again landing that glitter lance on Kerb. Seems to have the better of him right now, but Kerb has the better of the farm. They are both 1-0-1, so even. Oh, we're going to see Power Fist coming straight out. Mega Inferno bomb is not going to find its target. The hook will land on Tabs, but immediately flashes straight out with it. Chompers were used there. We do see Ziggs coming around the side. Froggen's going to get involved as well. They did manage to take Tabs down though, so finally one of those grabs work out.
Yeah, well played by Jerry, actually not relying on the rocket grab to set it up. He used his overdrive into Power Fist, which is a safer option. It's much more difficult to avoid, and that could have been even more effective if Creator didn't step on a Flame Chompers to prevent getting damage down. While they've got a kill, the rest of Alliance are going to be on this mid-outer turret. Jerry's got Shook!
Oh, Shook's just ran straight into Jerry. The Death Sentence land. The Wild Growth bounces him in the air. Shook flashes away. He saved the Ignite's not going to get the kill. Froggen may be in trouble though. Remember, he's already used that Wild Growth. He's going to try and speed himself up here. Cottonex is going to sink them claws in, gets the shield back down. It is so hard to kill a Lulu when he's persistent on getting away. The Death Sentence flung out from Nif will not find the target. Creaton tried to come in and finish the deal. They may still push on this tower though.
So Millennium defend their turret, and now they're trying to see if the Flash Blade doesn't connect.
Does not connect. They wanted to get on Kerb. That was what they were targeting. You can see the Pillar of Ice went down to defend it, but it wasn't quite enough, and the siege continues. Millennium, though, they're going to get held back here.
Yeah, I think there's enough members of Alliance to defend this turret, but the Flash Flay from Nif was instantly countered by Kerb flashing away. He did not want to get even potentially slowed, so he gets away with his life. Very chaotic fight there in the mid lane, which ends up resulting in a lot of summoner spells and ultimates blown, but neither team was fully prepared for that engagement. Neither team was fully prepared for the fight, which is why it dragged down and why it was so sloppy. Knowing that flashes are down and a few ultimates while Dragons is up, I actually think there are more ultimates for Millennium, but they're not in position. They are so far away to challenge, it's going to die.
It's going to go down. Mega Inferno Bomb is coming in as close.
Wow.
They got it.
Shook, he either needed to delay the Dragon and wait for the bomb to land, then Smite, or actually, no, that's all he had to do. He didn't do it. So Smite was available, gets caught out. They've caught Froggen.
They've caught Froggen. Wild Growth used straight away. You do try and keep him at bay here. Kevin caught by the choppers. He's going to go down. The super mega death rocket from Tabs there enough. Death Sentence flying in out, but not finding his target this time around.
Seeing how well Alliance actually played that one, I almost think to myself it may have been a bait. There were so many members of Alliance set in place, and the moment Froggen put the Wild Growth, there was Chompers behind him. Now here comes Shook from the side.
4-man ultimate coming out from Shook. They're catching the slowdown, but Cottonex sinks his teeth in towards one, gets on towards Tabs, gets the reset. He can go for a third here. Wicked taking a lot of damage. Konek's going to tank up that turret, and it will go down. Millennium turning this game on his head.
Continex did the same thing yesterday against the Super Hot crew. Every team fight, he stealthed up, jumped in from the side, and secured kills. He is 4, 2, and 1. Yesterday, he went 11, 5, and 10. And if Continex can get to the point where he has enough damage to 1v1 Tabs, especially in this mid-game phase, then Alliance have such a tough time. Trundle and Evelyn want to be in the thick of things against Millennium, as does Lulu. And if they have to split up their forces and split up their focus to defend and protect Tabs, it just reduces the effectiveness of their composition. So we need to see how Alliance manage this. They are going to need Tink wards of their own to reveal Continex in that stealth so they know where he is and they can deal with him in fights.
Should point out that a lot of that play began with Jay Reed's hook. It's only fair to point that out because he did make the play which turned that game. And currently, given Millennium the slightest of leads in this game right now, they are 2-1 up in turrets, they are 2-1 up in dragons, and they are 6-6 all square in kills. Jerry, again, roaming around, looking for something to play, and the teams have kind of reset themselves. They're like, okay, Dragon's down. We know it's going to be available in another 6 minutes' time. Let's just take our time and slow things down again.
I'd like to see Millennium setting up a siege. In a sieging situation, Trundle and Evelyn are not necessarily the strongest. The Pillars of Ice are pretty effective, but outside of that, not really much else. If Millennium can get Alliance onto a tower and start using the Ziggs bombs for threat and rocket grabs, Nif is going to get away. Boots of mobility is always going to be pretty safe. I feel like with Ziggs bombs and the threat of a rocket grab underneath the tower, that's where Millennium's comp is going to shine and going to do well. And if anyone from Alliance rushes in, Shyvana can knock them out. Now Nif is in trouble.
Overdrive, is he going to get the power fist onto Nif? Yes, he will. The flay quick turnaround, and the hook comes in. But again, Konux is there, manages to get the kill. He's back on Tabs now. Jumps, leaps, gets the claws back in. He gets the reset, and now Shook comes in to try and help them out. But Shook may go down. The claws are not quite enough, though, because Froggen comes in. Shook runs away. He gets caught out. This time around, it's Kerp.
2 for 3, and once again, that was Nif being caught out. Millennium jumped on an opportunity. They lose 2 of their members, but gain 1 more. Now, Froggen doesn't have flash, doesn't have wild growth. He's relying on the movement speed of Whimsy to get away, and he can rely on it a lot because he motored away from Millennium. In the jungle there, Millennium came out ahead because they simply blew Nif up quickly enough. And they had more bodies present in the fight. Even though the wild growth was good from Froggen, it was far from being game-changing. And Alliance, they need to play a little bit safer if they want to avoid giving Millennium the kills and the gold that they're currently securing.
Yeah, trying to take an advantage. Froggen realized caught out of position, does create a play from it though, and quickly pushes up and secures that top turret. All square in turret 2-2. Nif goes back to warding out, and Millennium at the moment are doing a very good job at catching Alliance out, and as you mentioned, it's down to Continex. He's making those plays, and Nif, he's been caught out of position a few times now.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see Continex performing well on Kha'Zix. We've seen him play Kha'Zix, we've seen him play Evelyn, and this week, much more so than last week, he's making an incredibly positive impact on his team. What he needs to do now, though, is start to feed and channel some of that kill gold that he's securing to the likes of Kerp and Creatine. Creatine's got himself a Trinity Force and a Bloodthirster completed, so sitting pretty happy against the the Static Shiv and Bloodthirst of Tabs. But Kerp needs to get high. He's got a Death Cap, he's got an Athene's, and it needs to go to Rod. The moment Kerp can insta-give waves, that's how they can defend.
Millennium are going to try and close the gap here. It's going to be another overdrive. Power Fist comes in. That's going to be 4 members. They're going to Mega Inferno Bomb comes down. Tabs is taken low. He gets taken down by Continex once again. The teleport coming in. Wicked's going to join the party. Kevin's in there as well. We do see Continex jumps on towards Froggen. He has to flash away. Continex follows. He may have enough here, but no. Froggen's going to try and kite this one out. He will turn it back around. Now Shook's going to get closed in on. 1 bomb comes out from Kerp. That's enough to close that one off. Froggen chasing on towards Continex, but a good void spikes from Continex to slow him down.
2 for 3, it's not over as Wicked's now on the run.
Kerp's going to collapse on towards him. He should land the rubber duck. He stuns him into the corner. That's enough to get a kill. And this time Kevin takes it. It was a 4 for 1 to Millennium.
At the end of the fight, that was phenomenal. They managed to run down Alliance. You've seen Millennium getting aggressive on Alliance, running in from the side. Tabs thought he was safe in and amongst the melee of that team fight. But J. Reed threaded the needle with the rocket grab. Pay very careful attention to J. Reed and Tabs. You're about to see Tabs get pulled all the way back into the middle of the fight and the middle of the Mega Inferno Bomb. That was a very, very important rocket grab for Jerry and Millennium. Continex runs amok, grabs himself a double kill. He's just quite literally going ham on Kha'Zix because he's so far ahead. And because of the fact that Alliance lost their members, they just get run down and they just get shut out. Incredible team fight from Millennium, and they got towers out of it as well.
Well, fantastic stuff. So, 4 for 1 again. Millennium in the lead now over Alliance. Alliance who are trying to chase themselves, trying to work their way back to first place. But at this rate, Millennium are going to create a spoiler situation. They're going for Dragon. They've got a ward on it for Alliance here. But I'm not too sure they're going to get even close to this one. Mega Inferno Bomb gets blocked off nicely by J-Ree. And, well, Kotenex secures himself another. 8-3-2 now on that Kha'Zix. Kotenex is doing work, and honestly, the best Kha'Zix we've seen in European LCS so far.
I completely agree with that. I think Kotenex is showing the way you need to play this Kha'Zix. You want to get some tanky items and some damage. Now, I do feel that if Alliance are tighter grouped and they can focus Kha'Zix down, he's only got a Giant's Belt and a Negatron Cloak as his defensive items. Hexdrinker is going to offer a little, but not a lot in the grand scheme of things. What worked for Insec at IEM was going super tanky with 2 items but late for damage and relying on staying alive in the middle of the team fight. Kotenex is being the one that ends the team fights by getting on the squishy targets and taking them out. Alliance can't afford to be split, otherwise that same thing's just going to keep happening over and over and over.
Well, at the moment, you can see that he's leveled up his wings and, of course, his camouflage, which is the standard route these days for most of the Kha'Zix players. Hasn't gone with those claws, probably will be that 3rd evolution which he hits. I tell a lie, he's already hit it. He's well ahead. He's 16. He's he's 2 levels off it yet. Yeah. I was going to say those claws are looking big, but they're not quite stretched out.
Not yet. I think for Alliance, their comp is still very strong if they can pick the right fights. And right now, it's actually been a lack of vision on Alliance's part that has prevented them from picking those engages. Every time Millennium has had these long drawn-out scraps, it's because Millennium have jumped on Alliance and not given them the chance to engage. If you look at Millennium's vision, they have a lot of wards placed towards the river and the barren side of the map, because that is now where the game is progressing towards. And we'll see how they play that map.
We should point out that Kotenex with hello, Nif's waiting for that dead sentence, and he may get onto Curb. No, Curb's throwing out those bombs, not having any of it. What I was about to mention is Kotenex, of course, was falling behind in farm, but the fact that he's got those kills has completely negated that factor, and from the lane phase, the advantage that Alliance had has kind of dissipated. They have still got Wicked, of course, heavily farmed up compared to Kevin, but that is about it.
See, Wicked doesn't matter right now because he can't stop both Shyvana and Kha'Zix jumping onto Evelynn, jumping onto Jinx, jumping onto Thresh. So we need to see how Wicked is going to impact these team fights. Finally, we see Millennium setting up the makings of a siege, but the wave clear from Lulu, the splash damage from Jinx in conjunction with Static Shiv is going to make it a tough task. I think Millennium need to get a pick and then go for a 5-on-4 siege where the wave clear is going to be reduced.
Well, I mean, the issue that Millennium may well have is the fact they do have to create those pick situations, or they need Alliance to run headlong into them. And we've seen many times this season that Millennium do fail to close those games out. That's why they are in the position they are in. They're going to have to go through that promotion tournament. The problem is, they may well be last in that promotion tournament, so they won't have the choice. And currently with some great teams in that promotion series, of course, Ninjas in Pajamas in there, probably the #1 pick. They were the #1 seed in terms of points. They got the buy through there, as well as Cloud9, Eclipse. They are teams that may well fancy their chances against Millennium.
Yeah, I think that's the case, and if you go in recent weeks' performances, Jerry is looking for Nif.
Overdrive is going to catch him in this time around, and the damage of Kerp is going to be far too much for Nif to handle.
And that was all down to the warding. Having the pink ward in the bush that Alliance were going to clear out, and then realizing the pathing that Nif was going to take, even with boots of mobility in the coin. Oh, now Froggen's been jumped on.
Froggen caught out there, then Kotenex is going to jump towards him. He's not going to flash chase this one. They knew his position, and Wild Growth had to be used out by Froggen there.
Wild Growth and Flash, with Nif being down and Alliance being split. Flash for Flash. Millennium once again looking to create a siege. Millennium are pushing the map.
But a support Flash versus an AD carry Flash is very much worth it. A situation being created by J-Ree. He didn't make too many plays in the lane phase, but he's really making it count now. We've transitioned into the game. This time around, they're going to go for Kotenex, but Kotenex jumps back on Froggen. Remember, no Wild wild growth available. He gets taken down. Doesn't really get the reset though. For some reason, didn't choose to pounce away from that one. And Kraton up against Shook. Shook realizes he can't face this one. The culling comes out, but he has to flash away. Another flash burn.
1 for 1, and trading a jungler for a mid laner is once again one of those trades you will take any day. Millennium need to find a way to convert those kills into objectives though. They killed Nif a few moments ago. They weren't grouped tightly enough to siege down the mid lane. Now they're going to try kill Nif again.
Oh, Nif, you are getting caught out of position so many times. Where are you going to go? Nowhere. He flashes away. Wicked tries to come back in. Tabs is there as well. Kurt realizes the danger, and it's going to be a zap on Jerry. Kevin's teleported in. Choppers go down. He's going to go straight in his position. Will stun him the moment he teleports in. And Alliance get away.
Yeah, at that point, the silence needed to be earlier from Jerry. I think he was overestimating how quickly they could kill Nif. Nif gets away with his life. Flash is now down once again. If you look down the summoner spells of Alliance, only Wicked has Flash because Millennium are trying to find picks. They are forcing Alliance's hand. Now that Millennium has got all of those outer turrets down, they need to get deeper vision and convert those picks into objectives because it's not working out. Dragon's going to be the next big fight, and I actually think Alliance may want to challenge in the pit. If you can force Millennium into a small enough zone and jump on them with Trundle and Evelyn, I actually think Alliance can still win a team fight, but the time to make that move is fast running out.
Well, they are lacking a lot of vision, as you just saw there, and Alliance desperately trying to shove this mid lane up, trying to get some pressure on towards that tower, but Millennium quick to react to this one, quickly sweeping out those wards that were placed there, and Millennium have themselves full control of the Dragon Pit area, but they want to make a play first. Jerry tries to come in there, gets blocked off by the Chompers, does not manage to land a hook. They will take down another pink ward though.
Dragon's up in 5 seconds. That's a smart play. Millennium have got better vision around the pit. It doesn't look like anyone from Alliance is close enough to challenge them. They're going to give this one up once again. The rest of Alliance are grouping towards this mid lane, so defending the tower is now a priority. Millennium, they're going to look for Nif.
Well, Nif's going to lead to bomb there. He's going to get straight in towards him. Does play away Jerry, who doesn't manage to land that hook out there. Instead, Jerry looking to try and create a play, getting controlled by this movement. Kraton goes aggressive and forces them away.
Now, there's no minions for Millennium to work with. If they want to face tank a turret, they might be able to get this inner one. The minion wave is pushing against Millennium, though, and they've zoned Alliance away. They are going to face tank the turret. There should be an even mid lane turret.
Yeah, Kevin is going to tank out that one. They're not going to finish it off, though. They're going to step away. They don't want to tank it too far because Wicked coming around with that full health. They expected everybody else to be coming back with full health from the fountain. They are going to throw the Mega Inferno on. Tabs actually taken low. Nif gets jumped on by Konex. He will get taken down. He could go back towards Tabs. He's got the reset. He's going to have that jump. He uses that stealth to try and speed up. Goes for Shook. Instead, jumps too far. Was not expecting Shook to get away so quickly, but nevertheless, they get themselves 2 kills.
Now, Froggen's in trouble. Kevin's being zoned away. The rest of Millennium, they can either go for Baron or the tower. The reason the tower didn't go down, without minions around, it has bonus armor and magic resist, so it reduces the damage from champions. Millennium have set their sights on Baron. They have a 5-on-3 in a best-case scenario, but they are low on HP. There is no Super Mega Death Rocket available, and Wicked is going to do the best he can to interfere with Millennium.
And Tab's going into this one little to no mana, so if he's going to be going in, there you go. That's all the damage he can do. Kurt taking low, uses that barrier. They quickly turn this one back around, but they are very, very low on this one. Tabs might fancy himself a cheeky kill on the towards Kurt here, but the Baron is being tanked down. It will get taken. And Millennium, they get away scot-free, and they may even get themselves a kill here. A hook from J-Will will be the death sentence for Wicked, and I don't think he's going to be able to get away. He tries to turn it around, but just gets bounced and pounced around, and it is another kill for Millennium. They have control of this game over Alliance.
I completely agree, and it's all down to Jay Rees roaming on that Blitzcrank. He's been relevant in the mid-game thanks to his overdrive and thanks to the presence. It actually, if you go back and look at how many hooks Jay Rees has landed, almost all of them against the likes of Nif and Shook have been when Alliance were counter-warding. Alliance were going in to destroy wards, and J-Ree would run them down. So very smart play, very good decision-making from Millennium. The key now is to begin the siege. The key is to get that deep vision again and get those inner turrets, because for the last 20 minutes, neither team has made any sort of dent in their opponent's half of the map. This has been all lane and jungle entry battles. So we need to see who's going to get complete control of the map, because it still currently isn't.
Well, with that Baron up, and of course Millennium, don't forget Millennium did get half the hit points down off that mid-inner turret. That may be the next focus. We can see Kevin probably going to start a split push off here. Teleport's going to be up shortly, but he's done enough to force that away. Jerry having a little chuckle in the mid lane.
Can't blame him, he's doing well. The one thing that is positive for Alliance, there's a Guardian Angel on tabs, so the reset potential on Kha'Zix being played by Cottonex is going to be reduced. I'm expecting more of them to be picked up. There are 2 on the side of Millennium, so this is going to be effectively 7 lives versus 6. Millennium finally sieging up, but look at that wave clear from Alliance. There are no minions left to work with.
Ooh, Tessence is almost catching Kerp as well, but they're going to tank this one down. They will take it. There's the Mega Inferno Bomb. Doesn't do a great deal of damage this time around, though. But it's an inner turret nonetheless. They're going to rotate around, and I think they fancy tanking this one straight away as well.
Yeah, I think they've got the opportunity to, knowing that Tabs is on low HP, if a full fight were to break out, it's going to force the wild growth from Froggen earlier than he's expecting, earlier than he wants to. Millennium right now on this inner turret, they pull the minions with them, and we're just going to see how effective is Alliance's wave clear. You see Wicked, Pillar of Ice, but they're not really committing to killing his minions just yet.
Well, those mines get thrown down. There's a hook from Nif, but Nif taken so low, and there's a hook of their own. Wicked gets bounced around, pinned up like a football there, just doing kick-ups, and they do take him down, no problem. That's another 2 kills for Millennium and a tower. They can push through the base.
They definitely can. 5 on 3 right now with Guardian Angels on their side. The inhibitor turret is down. They're going to get the inhibitor as well. Alliance, they're going to be hard-pressed to defend the siege.
That's going to be the inhibitor down, and Millennium are not done there. It's a 30-second death timer on both Wicked and Nif. They're pushing through. They get one Nexus down. They go towards the second. Shook comes in, gets Agony's Embrace down. The Super Mega Death Rocket comes out. It's a good turnaround. Is it going to be enough, though? Tabs is going to try and take another down. Kevin's very low. They can't tank this one up. Tabs is going to chase on towards him, but he quickly gets turned around. Creates a putting the damage back down on him. Froggen gets down. He gets Konex down. The rest of Millennium have to back away. Froggen fancies another kill. Lichbane glistening. Gets the shots off. Kevin's going to get taken down. It's a double for Froggen, and Alliance live to fight another day. The Guardian Angel gets popped. Kerview the Zonyas, he's going to get taken down. They're going to come rotate back around. Froggen off to the right-hand side right now is taking him down. Kerv doing the damage, though. He will get taken down eventually. Oh, Froggen nearly went headlong. There's mines there, Froggen. Step away from the mines. And Wicked, he's teleported to the bottom lane.
There is so long on those death timers that Wicked should be able to get damage on the inhibitor turret as well. Millennium bit off more than they could chew, and they stuck around on that Nexus for longer than they should have. They end up losing the Baron buff on all of their members, barring Creatine. Should time out soon enough anyway. And Millennium, they do have super minions in the top lane, but Alliance, they're not going down without a fight. They get a bunch of kills together, and you see when you can keep Millennium tightly knit and grouped, all of a sudden Alliance's team comp can work. But Millennium will most likely not make that same mistake again. They should have just backed away and pushed the side lanes.
Yeah, I think Jinx's passive of Get Excite was used by the entire Millennium team there. They saw a bit of flash of glory and maybe thought they could take it down. There is one Nexus turret remaining. It is very low. The Dragon's up in 5 seconds, but Alliance, they're going to try and push the mid lane. They have themselves a second chance at this game.
And we'll see how Alliance pull themselves back in with super minions in the top lane. It means maps in their favor. They're going to catch Creatine or not.
No, speeds away from that one. Yeah. Talisman not enough, and a quick dash from Lucian is enough to help him get away. They're going to rotate around. They're going to go towards that Dragon. Baron will be up in around about 2 minutes' time.
Now, I think with the Dragon being up and no one from Millennium close enough, this is going to be an uncontested Dragon. And if memory serves, it's only the second Dragon in the game for Alliance. We will get that confirmed in just a moment. It's a little bit of gold, and the fact that they are down by a large amount of 7,000 gold, and the fact that they have to defend, Alliance just need a turtle now. Alliance need to make sure they don't let those super minions get to their last Nexus turret. Millennium, on the other hand, they want to interfere. They want to force Alliance to come to them and then go for objective kills and then go for the remaining towers.
We'll see whether they can do that. At the moment, Millennium, all 5 members making their way down to this bottom. Codename's pushing the wave in, but I think they're just going to tank this one through. Kevin should be easily strong enough with the help of Creaton to take this turret down quick enough before Alternate, that is their previous name, Alliance do react. They are going to defend this one though. I was expecting to hang on a little bit longer. They're so fearful of that death sentence.
Yeah, they don't want to run the risk of getting caught out. There's enough CC and still damage on the side of Alliance that even if Kevin were caught, he'd get taken out. Right now with minions, oh, they've caught Wicked.
Alliance going to catch on towards him, but the death sentence is not going to be enough. They try and go in. Shook's gone really deep on this one. Agony's Embrace catching all 5 members, but I don't think they've got enough damage. They've gonna get taken down. There's the reset. Konex does jump away, goes straight back to Wicked, but there's a lot of damage on Millennium right now. If Shook can get in towards him, if Tabs can get some damage down, they will manage to pick up kills, but they are gonna back away.
While all of that is happening, the super minions were pushing down the last Nexus turret. Luckily for Alliance, their minion waves have spawned, and it's kept those super minions off the turret, but that is down to a couple of hundred hit points. Millennium eventually secure the bottom inner turret, trading 1-for-1. Support for top laner. Overall, the fight wasn't bad for Alliance. They had the flank they wanted, they kept Millennium in the right spot. But because Millennium had such a strong advantage, and they were so far ahead on gold, the damage that they had allowed them to actually come out in a better position in that fight, even though Alliance were the ones that almost executed the fight better.
So close. Inhibitors respawned, and Alliance are now safe from large super minions coming in. Baron up in 9 seconds, as you can see. Almost certainly the next focus target. You can see Millennium already in position here. J-Re motoring around there, trying to get some vision, clearing out those wards and placing his own ones. No cover whatsoever. And you see Alliance, they're moving up as a 5-man right now. They have to try and shove the mid lane and create a problem for Millennium as they move in to get some wards down.
Yeah, I feel like Millennium's vision has not been the greatest this game. J-Re's positioning as a player has been what's allowed his Blitzcrank to do work. If they had slightly better wards throughout the jungle, they may have been able to react. Even that last fight in the bottom lane. If you had known that Shook or Wicked were coming around the sides, for example, you can react with a lot more information. Now, we do see Kevin. He's pushing the bottom lane. He has teleport available. Wicked does not have teleport available. So we're going to see this Baron dance. Deny vision, regain vision, and whichever team can pull the other in closer will obviously then start the fight.
Alliance trying to push and seemingly working here. Millennium not wanting to get caught out by a bad rotation and quickly moving around to defend, while Kevin actually is also backing away. So complete defensive duties from Millennium this time around.
And Guardian Angels are about to become available in just a few seconds on both sides of the table. So with the next team fight going to be very big and impactful, it's going to come rocket grab, allow you to burst his GA and then take him down immediately. If Alliance lose tabs, that is a very big portion of their damage in a team fight gone, and that's what Millennium will be setting their sights on.
Froggen trying to zip around, trying to create something, trying to get a poke on someone. Wicked there, not really the focus target. They managed to land a death sentence on Connex. They're going to try and pop that ulti. They have forced it out there. The chompers were enough. That ultimate's going to be down. That's a big portion of his defensive duties there. That will be available in just a few seconds, but Alliance may try and create a play from this one. They know that Konex, if he jumps in, he's going to be quite squishy.
So it's a 1-minute window of opportunity. That ultimate on Kha'Zix is 64 seconds right now at his current level with his current build. So if Alliance were to force a fight out, you've got...
This time around, the pop curb, so Banshee's Veil, there's the rocket, the damage is coming down, the Zonius comes out, the rocket on towards Froggen. Froggen gets pulled away by the Lantern. That's actually going to be a kill on Wicked. Now Shook's in trouble. All 5 members of Millennium focusing targets on towards him. J-Re flashes away. Konex tries to come in, but the death sentence is there. Remember, he's got a Guardian Angel though, so all the damage done is simply just reversed, and the moment he respawns, he's going to be jumping straight back at them. Oh, quick burst coming out from Froggen though, forces him away.
A very good Mega Inferno bomb from Kerb actually zoned Alliance away. Wicked and Shook were so deep down the lane against Millennium that when Millennium threw out that burst damage, Froggen and Tabs almost stopped. They didn't want to get hit by a full Mega Inferno bomb. So because of that, it bought Millennium a couple of seconds to focus Wicked down and deal a lot of damage onto Shook. They come out 1-for-0. They didn't lose any of their members. J-Re survived. Millennium are now looking at Baron, but they don't have their full team just yet, so they've got to be careful. This is a 5-on-4 situation, and ultimates are available for Alliance with the exception of Agony's Embrace.
Baron begun by Millennium. The rest of Alliance trying to rotate in. Remember, still no Wicked, but he has got that teleport. There is a ward in the pit that he may be able to hook onto. He's going to go down before he gets there. As Shook comes in, dodges out the side there. Doesn't get caught out by a rocket grab this time around. Death sentence on Connex. Remember, no Guardian Angels this time around for him. Shook's trying to get in. He's going to get pinned off. He's going to be focused down. He's going to get a kill. Meanwhile, Kevin's going to get taken low. Wicked is back in the fight, but it's a Baron for Millennium and 2 kills. They're going to put the pressure on Alliance's base.
There are so many minions in the bottom lane. Millennium have actually used their minions incredibly effectively. When they've picked fights, it's always been when Millennium's minions are dealing damage to Alliance's towers. We do see a reverse though in the top lane as Millennium may lose their top lane tower, but it doesn't matter. They should be able to get on the inhibitors.
With 40 seconds left on the respawns, you can see 30 for Nif, 38 for Shook. This is almost certainly going to be a lot of pressure. Expose the inhibitor in that top lane. That's going to be the first focus. And then this mid lane, they could rotate around to it. You can see the minion wave is coming in. That inhibitor will go down, no doubt about that one. Wicked can't do anything to defend it. The rest of Millennium may fancy pushing on this one. Minions are there. You can see they're going to get some tank duty on, but you can see Froggen trying to get the poke. Kevin taken low here. He's just going to, well, say taken low. He took 1,000 hit points off him. He's still got 4,000 left. Rocket grab so close to catching tabs there. Creaton taken low, but he gets away. Remember, he's still got that Guardian Angel. There's the Mega Inferno Bomb once again. The rubber ducky flung out everything but the kitchen sink from Millennium, forcing Alliance away.
So a little bit of over-aggression from Millennium. There was multiple members inside the walls of Alliance's base. So when you see Froggen rushing in there with that whimsy and the movement speed, Millennium started to panic. They couldn't split up to reveal single targets. Creaton, however, he wanted to get some auto attacks on that turret, got zoned away. Millennium come away without losing any kills. They did get the top inhibitor, they did get their 5th dragon of the game, and they extend their gold lead to 14,000. But crucially, Millennium have not been able to beat Alliance underneath an inhibitor turret the few times they've tried.
So far. 47 minutes in this game as J-Reek comes trundling out. He uses that ultimate. He didn't clear the minions, but he doesn't care about gold right now. He's not too worried. It's 85,000 up against 72,000. Gigantic gold stacks as we move towards the 50-minute mark of this game. This is Millennium's time, maybe. Who knows? Of course, Alliance lost the game yesterday. Maybe that's going to be playing in their mind against Fnatic as they hit this stage. That was down to a singular pick. It was Nif that got caught out this time around, and he's going to be fearful it doesn't happen again.
It's going to be the same for Millennium. Millennium need to get through those Banshees Veils, and they need to grab a priority target. You've got 5 members of Millennium pushing the bottom lane, and Tabs is nowhere to be seen. He's going to arrive late to this tower defense.
Keeping those super minions away from the top lane, but maybe at the loss of this mid lane. So look at the damage from Creaton. He just hammered that down, no problem whatsoever.
Now, if Alliance want to fight, they want Shook to get a multi-man Agony's Embrace from the side, and Wicked needs to use a perfect trundled pillar. If he doesn't manage to land the pillar, Millennium are just going to run riot across Millennium. Froggen throwing out those Glitzer Lancers, it's not enough.
Yeah, Death Sentence landed, only popped the Banshee's Veil, wasn't enough. Froggen still trying to keep that poke on towards him. They want to get one of those key targets. They want to go for Curb or Creaton. There's the hook, it's Kevin. It's not the one they want. It's another inhibitor down. Super minions continuing to come in. You can see they're already putting damage on towards that Nexus.
Yeah, do not want indeed. Jerry's looking for a hook. Doesn't matter who they grab, they're going to go for the kill. Nobody from Alliance was close enough. Minions making their way to this mid lane. This looks like a pretty big wave.
Yeah, you saw how quick they took down that bottom turret. With this wave, there's going to be no problems here. Alliance are going to step away. They're going to have to fight for it. They're going to try and fight. They're going to try and go for the wave clear. But again, still, even with that tiniest little bit of damage, that tower almost went down.
Yeah, Millennium don't want to go for a tower dive, though. The moment Alliance moves to defend, they back away. Tower's 2 hits away. It's down.
J-Reek managing to finish it off with Kerp there, running interference. And now Millennium with just one inhibitor left to take down. And I also force Alliance out.
I also think Nif connected the Death Sentence onto Kerp, but it just popped his Banshee's Veil again. They need to get through that Banshee's Veil first, obviously. Otherwise, you don't have any crowd control. Millennium doing well. Super minions both top and bottom lane now.
That rocket grab doesn't land, but the Lucian ultimate, the culling all over Nif and Wicked. And that shield coming out. There's the Mega Inferno Bomb. It call on Tabs. That may be the target. That may be the trigger. Shook goes in. Agony's Embrace running in towards him. Konnex actually took caught out here, but his Guardian Angel is back up. He uses that ultimate minions to defend all that. Wicked taken so low. Konnex jumps in, jumps out, gets the kill. And now Alliance falls back on towards it. Kerp comes in. He's got the Zhonya's Hourglass available. The rocket grab comes out. And now it's going to be Millennium taking down Alliance. I do not believe what is happening in this game. Millennium have performed